In an almost year-long story arc of the Batman comic book series from October 2002 to September 2003, Batman faces some of the most difficult challenges of his career. From a giant killer crocodile and someone seemingly knowing his every move, to a mysterious man with a bandaged face lurking in the shadows, to tangling with the will they, won't they question and feelings between himself and Catwoman. Yet, probably the most terrifying and life-threatening challenge is with Batman, aka Bruce Wayne's good friend Clark Kent, aka Superman, being poisoned and brainwashed by Poison Ivy to do her bidding. And her bidding, kill them. Them being Batman and Catwoman. From the brilliant writing of Jeff Loeb, this series is a thrill ride from the beginning to the very end that survives as a legendary time in the Batman history, featuring a rogues gallery of some of the greatest of Gotham's heavy hitters, all while giving us a new villain seemingly behind every event that unfolds. The masterful pencil of Jim Lee gave us haunting presentations of the evil Motley Crew and iconic versions of some of our favorite heroes, including this collector's favorite. So Jim Lee drew a champion. Good. Todd made one too. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and in this episode we are taking a closer look at the... Okay, here we go. Hush, Superman with Angry Laser Eyes Gold Label DC Multiverse McFarlane Toy Store exclusive 7-inch figure. Nailed it. All right, welcome back everyone, and here we have it. As we said, the Hush Superman with Angry Laser Eyes Gold Label DC Multiverse McFarlane Toy Store exclusive 7-inch figure, right? So, I mean, we can shorten it by saying, hey, look, it's Superman from Hush, right? But he does look mad. But let's take a look at the outside of it, right? As usual, we'll start on the back, and oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful Jim Lee art that we've got right there. Superman flying through, got his costume a little torn up because he's been in a little bit of a rough battle there, right? Because he's being controlled by Poison Ivy, but he's going up against old Batman and Catwoman, and that's not the easiest fight to take on your hands, especially when old Batman's involved, right? Whether it's plot armor or he just happened to have something planned, you call it what it is. He's usually ready for any fight. But there we go. So beautiful art on the back. I always love the gloss that they have with this. It just adds to that impression of quality. You've got like the eggshell or matte right there, and then the gloss of the art. It just helps it stand out. On each side, we've got Superman over here, Superman Hush, as we already saw. And over here, just kind of Superman DC Multiverse. A little bit of a peek in the window there. Because McFarlane Toys definitely still uses the plastic in the packaging. Not sure if there's going to be any changes for that. Stuff on the bottom, and that's what the top looks like. Mine suffered a little bit of an issue right there. I have seen that some of the figures have started to have this connected over, or even already having a little reinforcement on there. I added that to mine just so that I could have the option of hanging it up, because, I mean, if it's already torn, you're not really saving the quality of what's going on there. Gold label, beautiful presentation as always. I'm always a sucker for a great Superman figure, or really any Superman figure as it stands, but this one, beautiful coloring on it, right? And from an excellent storyline that I'm a huge fan of. But enough about the outside. Let's start looking at the inside. So as usual, we're going to start from the bottom, open it there, get that tape out of the way, and let's see if we can open this without being too violent. All right, I look forward to the person that comes up with the better technology of a box instead of where it gets caught on the flaps every single time. It never fails. Usually it gets damaged or bent somehow, so it'd be neat to see someone come up with a little bit better version that opens a little bit better and kind of preserves the integrity of it. Okay, but enough rambling about that. Here we go yet again. We've got that art in the background. We've got two features of the death of Superman showing right there. Almost like they're looking forward to that anniversary that's coming up, I believe starting next month, if I'm not mistaken, right? November? So there we go. We'll move all Supes out of the way so we can see that background as normal. Lots of different features there's yet another death of Superman. We got a lot of Superman, Wonder Woman showing up on there. So several different ones, a little bit of Sinestro from the DC line, hence DC Multiverse, right? So there's our Jim Lee Superman art yet again on the card that usually comes with a figure. There's our generic McFarlane Toys little DC stand, which helps with the balance of some of these figures. That's it for that cardboard. Let's get that out of the way, right? Let's get on to the main event, okay? So here we go. First and foremost, I mean, let's start and pull these accessories out. So there's not quite so many, and we can just kind of take a look and see what we've got here. This one, of course, obviously some of the vines to help show that that ivy control that you can have. Interesting little setup, right? So it looks like maybe it'll wrap around him a little bit, come around the front, maybe up around the neck. We'll set that to the side right now so it doesn't really mess with our focus too much. Let's see if we can get some focus. There we go. See, very good detail on it, right? So not really dealing with paint. We're more so just talking about some molded plastic here. So there, as you can see, really good detail on that. Would there be the possibility of some paint apps to get some brown in there? Absolutely, like for the vines to add a little bit more detail to it, bring a little bit more depth. So hey, bring out those detail brushes, right? Maybe a little bit of a delicate dry brush in there to kind of help make it pop some more. But hey, out of the package, not bad. And then we got a little pair of hands if you want some options of different Superman hands. I'll leave those in there, and let's get old Superman out. Fortunately, he's pretty bulky, so they, with these little elastics or whatever you want to call them, rubber pieces that they like to lock the figures in there with, they're a little bit easier to reach as opposed to some of the more delicate ones. So let's get in there without causing any damage and see if we can just carefully, very carefully pop those, okay? Usually once I get those top ones, pardon the noise as usual of the removal from the plastic. Get the tape working out of there. Fortunately, it's... There we go. See, once you get the top ones out there, you can kind of use some leverage, especially on the bigger figures, and it'll help either wedge out or pop those bottom ones. So let's get that plastic out of the way. We'll clear this shrapnel from the removal, and let's bring that arm down and just kind of get an overall look of old Superman here, right? So, come on, let's get our focus working with us here. Let's get right there. All right, there's our guy. Right? Very, very bulky version of Superman, right? Obviously not the most bulky that we've seen from various different lines, but there's a very large Clark Kent going on here. Menacing, right? Which is good, right? That kind of matches that Jim Lee art style that we're used to. And in the face, I have to say, you know, it's very invoking of that Jim Lee look, I must say. One thing that stands out real quick here with the head, since we'll just start up there, right? Since we're talking about the face, is, I mean, he's angry all the time, right? Hey, maybe that's his secret. He's always angry. No, we're not dealing with the Hulk here. So I do love the little hair curl there, but he's angry all the time, right? So the angry laser eyes. In fact, it's part of the description. I get it, but it would have been great to have another head, right? To have that Jim Lee art style from McFarlane Toys, where we have a more of a calm Superman, where he's snapped out of it, right? He's saved Lois, and he's snapped out of the spell, and we can have just a regular old plain Superman in this style. That would have been fantastic. But you know what? Hey, who knows what the future holds? I'm sure nobody from McFarlane Toys is listening to this, but hey, if they happen to be, I'd love to see a Jim Lee style head for this. It'd be fantastic. But I digress, right? So with the anger, I don't know if you can see it, we've got a lot of shading and shadow going in here to kind of help add a little bit of the evil to it. The red around the whited out eyes. I mean, if anything, there's a little bit of red on the around white pupils of these eyes. I mean, it looks like he is just absolutely ready to fry somebody, right? So you've got the red shading coming along underneath it, because he is angry and he is about ready to just burn it all to the ground, if you will, just because, you know, Ivy wants him to, and they came to pick a fight with the person who's got control. So there we go. As far as flexibility, articulation, I mean, we've got some pretty good ability to turn. Look at that. We do have the good old exorcist move going on there. That's always a good thing with our figures when we have that ability to look around, because, you know, it's perfectly natural to look over your shoulder that far, right? If you can't do it, I mean, nobody can do that, okay? But if you can, then I would love to see that. That's a heck of a trick. But looking up and down, pretty good, side to side, obviously, and we've got a little bit of a good head bobble going on there. So that's good. That's the beauty of having the head separated from the neck on that ball or dumbbell joint, whatever it's called. I'm no figure builder, so I'm not completely versed on that. Good joints in the shoulders right here, right? I believe it's a butterfly joint. And excellent flexibility. I mean, the arms go out pretty wide right there, which is good. You know, and get some nice, interesting Superman swan dive flying poses, maybe. Looks like we've got ourselves a nice bicep swivel. Look at that. Yeah, so good rotation there. That double elbow to help with that flexibility. Looks like that one was a little locked in, but yeah, good flexibility on that. Happy to see that. And then of course the wrist, we've got up and down, we've got rotation. So good for posability with old Supes, whether you want to have him punching or flying or just slamming the ground in a nice hero pose. You know, such a poser, right? But there you go, right? So good. We got torso flexibility right there, so that's yet another excellent feature. Along with, felt like we've definitely got some hip movement there as well. So happy to see that. Good for old Supes and his flexibility. Legs have that joint that we see a lot in some of these McFarlane toys. It does not do that thing where they kind of come down and help spread out a little bit. I can pull it, but I don't think it's intended to do that. So as far as its natural side, we can't quite do the Superman split like we've seen Batman have the ability to do the good old bat split. So hey, Batman a little more flexible than Superman. Superman's got the power. Batman's got the training, right? So there we go. Double knee to match the arm flexibility, the elbow. We don't really have a thigh swivel. Not much rotation up here at the hip. But the foot does have a pretty good rock, pretty good spin, and our toe articulation, which we can just kind of, it seems like, come to expect from things. So all in all, as far as posability goes, I really can't complain. I think it's a good Superman representation. Is it the best Hush representation we've seen? I don't know if I can go above the Mafex one, right? Maybe if we had a regular head, that would bring it to another level. But let's turn it around and look at the cape right there. So it's interesting, we've got the cape folding over on itself, right? So it's kind of got the blowing in the breeze look. Interesting how it's kind of folding over on itself. Not bad for a rubber goods cape. Again, I would always love to see a soft goods come in the package, but you know what? That leaves a lot of market for those third-party developers out there on Etsy and Instagram and all that to make us some nice capes, and we gladly order them from them and keep them in business, right? Those little wired capes where we can just make them flowing in the breeze. I'm always game to order one of those. We've got a couple great people out there that are making some fantastic products on the side for this. Again, the hair, I got to highlight it again. I mean, it looks very windblown. And we've got the little curly Q hanging down. They did excellent having that separated. A lot of times you see that as part of the face itself. So, yeah. Enough rambling on about Superman. Definitely a good figure. I would say that if you can get past the fact that he's just always angry, I would strongly recommend, if you have the option, to pick this up. Now, the last time I looked, it is a McFarlane Toy exclusive in the store. And it was sold out, so I don't know if there's any intention for it to come back or if it will be coming back. But if you do have the option and somebody's not asking a fortune for it, I would definitely pick it up. It's a great Superman figure, as someone who regularly collects a good amount of Superman figures. So, yeah, there we go. Well, there's our boy in blue, floating into the scene with a little bit of ivy around him. Needless to say, he definitely needs some sort of a stand to display him. His cape's a little bit heavy if he's trying to stand on his own, and it does like to pull him backwards, as we've seen with several different Superman figures. But there he is with his ivy on him, looking pretty solid. Again, I stand firm. Good figure, well made, good quality. So strongly recommended. But that's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed taking this closer look as much as I have. Remember, I plan to release a new video each week, if not more, where we take a closer look at yet another new ad. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, please subscribe so we can continue on this journey together. It would honestly mean so much to me. Also, if you find yourself in the neighborhood of the like button, give it a friendly tap and leave a comment to let me know what you think. And no matter what, I always appreciate you taking time out of your day to stop in. Until next time, we are all in this world of collecting together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.